I have to go very soon, in like 5 minutes, but I thought I would do a very, very quick reading. I don't know who's going to see this and who's not going to. Okay. Oh man, you're gonna feel divided between so many different ways to react to the current moment. That fits a lot. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You're gonna feel like, okay, the closer that you focus to your own integrity, though, the more that you will find methods of resistance that integrate all of the, you know, all of the lessons that you've gathered so far, and all of the people's, plural, that you want to stand up with so far. So just keep on returning to your integrity with your values. I think you've realized at this point that you have some gorgeous few friends, and they are very like in line with your values, and they see you for who you are, and they see your integrity, and they have a lot of different forms of love that they share with you, and that's beautiful. They are few. Ace of Pentacles. And I think that honestly sticking with them is far more useful right now, as like I know that it's hard in US to join an organization, to organize in general, because there's a lot about organizing that runs counter to capitalism. Even the fact that we call it organizing, but it's called a thing. In other cultures, it's not even, it's more organic. So, if you are finding yourself doing more work, resistance work, in a small group or alone, it's not because, please don't, recognize that you're doing this because the collectives around you right now may not have dismantled what they need to dismantle enough that you feel you can work with them. I do think though that, and it's sad, I don't think I like that answer, but I think I'm even coming to that conclusion, like the Eight of Pentacles. You're going to form more solidarities and more organization to meet the current moment, to respond to living, especially this is speaking for people living in the belly of the beast like me, enacting genocide on your people and on your friends' people, enacting child labor and child trials and child jailing on your people, on the people of your friends. And I think you're going to respond best to this moment by sticking very closely to the 2-3 friends that you have, and organize with people, but with boundaries. Forming a utopian collectivist community right now might end up being a waste of time. And calling it resistance might end up being a waste of time. Because a lot of the people around you are going to fall back on their settler values when shit hits the fan. But if you're organizing on a large scale around action items, and when you go home you have your 2-3 friends, it might be a better way to survive capitalism. It might be a better way to organize in the belly of the beast. King of Cups. I don't care who thinks that I'm sounding pessimistic, or I am pessimistic. I'm a pessimist when it comes to a lot of things about being in America. I am. I listen to Afro-pessimism, I listen to Palestinian pessimism, and it's different from, as a highest form of hope, as something that cannot be separated from hope. And I don't prioritize one form of pessimism above another. I don't have a hierarchy of who was harmed by white supremacy the most. I don't believe in that. I've dismantled that. I used to. I don't anymore. I know that there are hierarchies, but relative to space and time. 10 of Swords. A lot of your beliefs right now are dead. They're entering a lot of the swords. A lot of your paradigms are dead. Even the ones that you thought were for liberation, dead. Let them die. Even the beliefs that you thought were for liberation and are dying and dead, let that shit die. Congratulations. You have learned that it's an ongoing commitment not a final destination, not a final book, not a final paradigm. Nine of Swords. It is sad. You want to hold on to it. You want to do the 9 before the 10 of Swords. But your tears are not more important than the lives that the settlerism you've internalized have cost. And you got to look at the mirror and say that. I've looked at the mirror with certain things and said that. And even though there's certain forms of settlerism I've never been socialized into, because I didn't grow up here, but I did spend a lot of time here. So there's certain forms I got socialized into, or was about to get socialized in, like something is wrong. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I can cry all I want to. I'm not going to even identify these tears as mine after I shed them. They are mine when I shed them, but after, they ain't mine no more. Because I'll be damned if lives are being slain for me to cry. 3 of Cups again. It's okay if you say, like, man, there's only a few people here who really understand me out in this world. One more time. Celebrate with them. They are your win. Organize large scale. Don't be close to people large scale. Even if you feel like that's not how it's supposed to be. What I'm saying are temporary placeholders, and it's tarot anyway, so take it with a big grain of salt. Knight of Cups. It keeps getting redundant right now. Let your heart be the compass. Let your heart, wear your heart out through the actions, the flags that you hold through the actions. Wear your heart out through the actions. Don't waste time texting too many people. Or like, bless you if you have the privilege to do that. Go for it. I'm glad you're finding more and more like minds in big numbers. Beautiful. Go for it. But maybe if you have that privilege, you can spare to share it a little. Maybe you can share that time with a few friends that you really cherish. Instead of spending time building a utopia around you, maybe spare some of these texts to send the group chat. If you're going to be safe, if you know people are going to surveil you less. Which is what I'm saying earlier. There are situational hierarchies, but I don't believe in existential permanent ones anymore. There are situational hierarchies. But every form of racism is situational, not a permanent condition of the world. If you believe that, you're going to be distracted from the other, now more serious form of discrimination that's happening, more serious than what you are going through right now, and you're replicating the history of what your ancestors are going through, but someone else is going through it now. Because you thought nothing about suffering in this world can happen unless it goes through you. And that happens only to people who spend too much time in America. No one else. It's a temptation. It's not the destination. And it does not summarize the depth of the suffering of your ancestors and your, hopefully not futures, but the people in your environment right now is far deeper than any hierarchy can understand. Any hierarchy can't even fathom the nihilism, the loss. Can't. It's bigger than that. There is no Big Mac of suffering. There isn't. There isn't. There are situational hierarchies that you would be unloving if you're not aware of these situational hierarchies. But you're also deeply unself-loving and unloving of others if you translate that into an existential God. It can change. Someone else can be the next scapegoat way more than you, even if you never thought it could happen. 6 of Swords. Start organizing your thoughts. Turn that sadness into organization. It doesn't have to be the organization I'm saying or that I mean. Your own organization. Your own kind of like praxis. Your own reordering of what it means to love in this world today. Start it now. One last card. I'm sorry if I sounded harsh or I'm gonna probably save this, but I'll delete it, okay? 9 of Wands. Okay. Okay, so even though there is sadness around this, I like this Nine of Wands. I think what I did say was pretty limited. I think there will be like a reordering of feeling close kinship in large groups again. It's just that it's gonna ironically, no, not ironically, it's gonna happen out there on the street. Like, don't put the cart before the horse. Don't try to build the utopian community and then we're gonna go out on the street and fight for one another. Fight for one another, and in the fight, you're going to meet the people of like mind and like action and like fire, like alignment for each other, like wands. I love you. I got really sick and I'm broke, so if you want to tip me, go ahead. Nectar Not on Venmo. I also just ate, and it's probably a lot better if you donate to someone who needs it today. Primarily, I would say today, someone in Gaza, even though they don't need you and they don't need me. Someone in the Goma, even though they don't need you and they don't need me. They don't. They have way more dignity than to need us. But we do it because we also don't need to exploit them to live. You don't need to exploit your own people to live. You don't need to exploit another people to live. So we do it because we all gotta live, not because anybody needs anybody. Because life is important enough on its own without having to hierarchize it into a want or a need. It's just life. And you're a beautiful life.